The Bluest Eye was written by Toni Morrison in 1970, and it takes place in 1941 during the end of the Great Depression. It centers around 9-year-old Claudia and her 10-year-old sister Frida McTeer. They both live in Ohio, and it is about the struggle that they face concerning race and beauty. Within this book, Toni Morrison uses symbolism to suggest that the white standard of beauty is a goal that all pursue, which is significant because the basic construction of that goal makes it impossible for blacks to achieve. Throughout this book, both Frida, Claudia, and another young black girl named Pecola are all shown attempting to understand why segregation and racism deem them ugly. A common theme throughout this book is blue eyes, and through Claudia's initial distaste for blue-eyed baby dolls, Morrison illustrates how the white standard of beauty was forced onto the youth by society and continues to be today. The special, the loving gift was always a big blue-eyed baby doll. From the clucking sound of adults, I knew that the doll represented what they thought was my fondest wish. So in this passage, Claudia is basically referencing how her parents give her gifts based off of what they think she supports or what they think she should love. And her distaste of the standard of cuteness or beauty shows how disappointed she is that her own appearance doesn't reflect it. Although this is like a poor way for the kids to grow up, the parents that are forcing these standards or ideals upon them don't necessarily have bad intentions. Their intentions are pure, and it's just like a social... The intentions of the adults that give the kids these presents are most likely pure, but the ideals and standards these gifts represented were not positive things to share with the children. This is significant because from a young age, this idea of not fitting the standard begins and sort of sprouts from there. So as they get older, it is more significant, and Morrison is trying to show how these ideas are born from a young age and you're brought up with them and they continue to be a part of your life. Okay, so although Claudia has a certain distaste for blue-eyed baby dolls, Pecola, another character, she is seen sort of as the ugliest of the kids and sort of craves that type of standard of beauty more than anyone. By using Pecola to symbolize the lowest end of the spectrum in terms of fitting the standard, Morrison shows that the way that ideals forced people who did not possess them to think poorly of themselves. This passage is right after Pecola leaves a candy shop, and she's feeling ashamed for facing the white store clerk, but Morrison does not necessarily identify why. Yeah?
What you doing?
An English project?
Oh, kind of late. Why didn't you do it this weekend?
Because I have to film myself and it's weird.
Oh, that's shitty.
Okay. Oh my god, the cats keep attacking me.
Bye.
Bye.
You look very...
Each pale yellow wrapper has a picture on it. A picture of little Mary Jane, for whom the candy is named. Smiling white face, blonde hair in gentle disarray, blue eyes looking at her out of a world of clean comfort. The eyes are petulant, mischievous. To Pecola, they are simply pretty. She eats the candy, and its sweetness is good. To eat the candy is to somehow eat the eyes. Eat Mary Jane. Love Mary Jane. Be Mary Jane. Jane represents exactly what Pecola desires to be. She fits every standard of the white standard of beauty. And this particular quote shows how the ideals of society force those, even at a young age, because Pecola is like 9, to feel poorly for not possessing them and not being considered beautiful by society's standards. Her desire to possess blue eyes and be considered beautiful is a theme throughout the novel, and as we all know, in the end, it turns out to be sort of her destruction in a way. I mean, there's a lot of other factors, but I think that her character striving to meet these ideals, even though she can't, is a good representation for the way that everyone strives to meet society's standards, even though some will never be able to. Ow! She meets the standards. We have the bluest eyes. So on the opposite end of the spectrum from Pecola, we have Maureen Peel. She sucks. So she is exactly what basically Mary Jane is, and basically exactly what Pecola desires to be. She represents the standard of beauty for not only little girls but for society as a whole. And Morrison shows how the jealousy and distaste for those who possess beauty drives away that those who do not possess them behave. So basically, the way that Claudia and Frida and Pecola behave towards her. So this quote is from Maureen Peel. Safe on the other side, she screamed at us, "I am cute, and you ugly. Black and ugly. Black emos. I am cute." She ran down the street, the green knee socks making her legs look like wild dandelion stems that had somehow lost their heads. The weight of her remarks stunned us, and it was a second or two before Frida and I collected ourselves enough to shout, "Six-fingered dog-tooth meringue pie!" We chanted this most powerful of our arsenal of insults, as long as we could see the green stems and rabbit fur. Not only does this quote reflect exactly what the standard is, but Maureen's character as a whole sort of reflects exactly how kids at a young age become self-aware of how their appearance either reflects or does not reflect the ideals of beauty. So Maureen is aware of this, obviously, and she uses it as her weapon to hurt all three of the girls that don't fit it, and they know they don't fit it. She like addresses it full on to make them feel poorly and like acknowledge the fact that she's better or more beautiful. That Morrison intentionally makes all three of the black girls constantly shown as jealous in this novel, because they believe that the standards are what they must live up to, and they know that they can't. Their relationship with Maureen Peel emphasizes how jealous they truly are, and it like reflects the way that many young girls feel still today with society, even though the ideals are not necessarily the same. Throughout the novel, whether Morrison used symbolism like dolls, candy wrappers, or whole characters to represent the hardship of feeling unable to achieve society's ideals. The white standard of beauty is by far the biggest theme throughout the entire book, and it's a constant and running desire throughout many's hearts, despite age. I would say today the white standard of beauty does still exist, and it is still a concept that's strived for and seen as desirable, but in a different way. It's not necessarily the color of your skin, but it's more your characteristics. I think throughout the entire book, Morrison does a good job of showing the actual effects of having this type of standard you need to live up to. And it emphasizes the way that these sentiments and insecurities are bred at a young age, because all of her characters, or at least the main ones, are focused on at like the ages between 9 and 10. Sick.